What's up everybody, I'm Vortex back with another Escape from Tarkov video. Today we're taking a look at budget gun builds that are becoming in below 100k rubles. Before we get into this video, I just want to thank Tactical Zombie for the video suggestion and idea. Thank you guys for all the love recently, and if you guys have any more suggestions, I'll be more than happy to do them. So just let me know down in the comments below. Also, we've got a ton of different gun builds today, so I understand that not a lot of people are interested in viewing the gun modding itself. So in the description down below, I will be putting the list of guns with the timestamps and all the different attachments that I'll be using on the guns. And this is just to make it easier for you guys to navigate through the video if you guys don't want to watch the entire thing through. Also, I just want to remind you guys that I do stream on Twitch daily. We got our Kappa container. We're thinking about going for the Adidas tracksuit, and we're just trying to have fun on the stream. I answer questions for newer players, and I give advice for those who are looking for that. So down in the description down below, as well as my Discord for notifications on my YouTube and Twitch, if you guys are interested in that. With all that out the way, let's get into these gun builds. Alright, so we're going to be starting off with the AK-74. The AK-74 is a great gun in the game with a decent sized caliber with ammo that does shoot decent penetrating rounds. Also, it is fairly cheap as it's one of the most common guns in the game. So this first rendition of the AK-74 I've made for people who don't really have max traders. This is going to be for those of you who are like in the level 2 to 3 areas and don't really have those expensive attachment unlocks just yet. As we can see here, we've gone with a 51 ergo 69 vertical recoil. We've put on the DTK-1 compensator. We've put on a butt pad. We've went with the Vortex sight. Now sights are completely preference, like I've said a billion times in all my other videos. So that could be totally up to you. But the main part that we're looking for here is this B10 handguard coupled with the RK-0 foregrip, as well as the butt pad with the DTK compensator. Now these are really going to make the gun. On top of it, we put on a Bastion dust cover with a sight, and this gun is going to be coming in at around 80k, as you guys can see here. Now we can make some differences, and I'll be showing that off to make this gun a whole lot better, and it's not going to cost that much money, so I'm showing that off as well. But it is important to remember that a lot of these parts, even though they are from my traders, they don't go that much further off the flea market. As you guys can see here, it goes from 7 to 11k, only a 4k difference. If we're talking about like the DTK compensator, it's actually also cheaper from the flea market than it is from the traders themselves. So that is great off the flea. And of course the sights, you can choose what sights you want. The Vortex is 29k, it is a little expensive, but I'm sure you guys have your preferred sights that you could be using. Also, the RK-0 is a little pricey. The foregrips will be pricey if you don't have them from traders, but I believe that the RK-0 is from skier level 3. So as you guys can see here, you need level 3 for the RK-0. The foregrip doesn't change a whole lot. It will add a little bit of vertical recoil reduction, and of course the ergo. It will make it better, but if you guys have any other foregrips laying around, you can always throw those on. Foregrips are always better than no foregrip. Alright, so how do we change up this AK to make it a little bit better? So actually the only things that I would really change it if you do have max traders like myself is that instead of this DTK-1, I would put on the JMac AK-74 type thread. This is going to put the recoil down just a little bit. I also would change up the RK-0 to maybe an RK-1 or even an RK-5. The RK-5 is a little bit better with a little bit better ergo, and it is a little cheaper than the RK-0, but the RK-1 does cost a little bit more. For the sake of budget, I'm going to be running the RK-5. And of course, with the PP19 grip, it is really cheap, coming in at 980 rubles from Prapor level 2, but I would change this with the Aeronox Scorpius pistol grip for AK, which is only 6k, but adds nearly 10 ergo. And as you guys can see, we have only changed like 2 or 3 things, but whenever we look at the actual gun itself, it goes down a whole 7 recoil, and the ergo stays about the same with only 7 more ergo. So in total, we have 7 more ergo and 7 less recoil, which might not sound like a lot, but for these builds, it is great to have a little bit of wiggle room with the recoil. As we all know, the AKs could have some great recoil compared to some of the other guns in the game, but it's good to have this extra recoil reduction. All right, with the AK-74 out the way, I know that's not very interesting because this is one of the most common guns in the game. Next up, we're gonna have a gun that I think not a lot of people would run, but they really should. All right, next up we have the PP1901. Now, I know you guys are gonna be thinking this is a trash garbage gun, but just hear me out for a second. Coming in with 41 vertical recoil, shooting the 9mm rounds with 7N31 and AP 6.3, this thing can be devastating. If you guys are shooting for the head with this thing, especially with that 41 recoil, it's not a whole lot of recoil and you can spray towards the head. And especially with the AP 6.3s or the 7N31s that do penetrate face shields, and of course the 7N31s penetrate ULACs, this thing can be deadly. And the great thing about the PP19 is that it's really easy to mod out. Just like the AK-74, we're also using the B10 handguard, the PP19 grip, and the RK-0. The only thing that's different from the last build is that we have put on a different receiver cover, the Izhmash Vityaz-SN receiver cover, and of course we've had a different sight, but those sights are totally up to you guys. We went with a suppressor this time. You can change this up with, of course, the normal compensator, but the suppressor does take down the recoil just a little bit. And this build is gonna come in at 82k rubles. Now, just like the last AK build, if you guys do have max traders, you can put on the Scorpius pistol grip, even change up the foregrip if you would please, and it will make the ergo and recoil just a little bit better. As we can see, the ergo did jump up when changing up the pistol grip, but this build is as good as it gets, pretty much. Now, next up, we have a build that I love for just its simplicity, the VSS. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. The VSS ammo does cost a lot of money, but the great thing about the VSS is we don't have to use the best ammo in the game to kill high-leveled opponents. The SP6 rounds are just good enough to kill decently geared opponents, and with the great fire rate of the VSS, we can take down even level 6 players really quickly. The SP6 does have a between level 4 and 5 penetration, so you will be needing at least 3 shots to take down level 5 geared opponents, maybe even 4 to 5 if they have a higher durability armor. But with all that said, the SP6 is a great ammo just because it does do that great penetration for that level 4 and 5, and also because the VSS shoots just so quick that you're gonna be taking down opponents really quickly. So you guys might be asking, how do we mod this thing out? So actually, all I've done is just put on the sight. I've put on the OKP7 sight, and I know that a lot of people might not like this sight. It's the green sight. If you guys choose that you want a different sight, you actually can put on some of these rails, or even the SVD low rail. It's my personal favorite, the SVD low. And then you can put on a PK06 and Eotech, whatever you prefer. With the VSS, I would recommend the PK06 if you're gonna go this route. But I find that the OKP works just fine for me, especially in the close range. And I've also went with the 20 round mags because the 30 rounders do cost a lot, and with the ammo it's going to cost a lot of money. But if you guys choose with the 30 rounders, you totally can do that. They are around the 40k range though for each magazine, so they can get costly. But this build is going to come in below the 70k range. If you buy a VSS off the flea market that doesn't have a dust cover, you can always buy the dust cover for another 2k. So it is always going to be below the 70k usually, depending on flea market prices for the VSS itself. And the sight is always going to be cheap. The only real thing about this is the ammo is going to cost a lot for the SP6. If you guys think the ammo is going to cost way too much and it's not in your budget, the SP5 is also a great choice, and it's incredibly cheap, coming in at 200 rubles per bullet compared to the nearly 800 rubles per bullet of the SP6. All right, next up is going to be a trade that we're going to need with Peacekeeper level 2. So first we're going to need to go to Peacekeeper level 2. Scroll down to where we can find the MP5SD and buy it for $506. Now the MP5, just like the PP19, shoots those 9mm rounds with the AP6 and the 7N31s. A great thing about the MP5SD is it's already came modded with 33 vertical recoil, which is a hell of a lot lower than any of the guns we've had on this list so far. Also with an incredibly high recoil at 62 ergonomics. One thing you guys will notice is it comes in already silenced, but it does not have a sight. So now we're going to be choosing to put on the sight. So all you're going to want to do is press on the edit preset, go towards this and put on the 4-1 HK universal low profile scope mount. And then you can choose a side of your choice. For the sake of the video, I'm gonna be using the Eotech just because it's one of my favorites. And if you guys choose to do so, you can also use the 50 round mags, but the 30 ones work just fine. I find with the MP5 especially, it doesn't shoot too quick, it doesn't shoot too slow, so the 30 rounders are perfect. But the 50 round mags can work in your favor sometimes when you're going up against 2 to 3 opponents. So if you guys want to buy those as well, that's perfectly fine. The two parts together are going to come around at the 28K range. They're not too pricey, especially with the MP5 that's around $506. So if we do the math, $506 is 63K plus the 28K we'll be paying for the sight and the sight mount. That is below the 100K, but it is approaching it nearly at 81K. These builds can get a little pricey. They are on the 100K range. They can be a little discouraging, but I assure you guys, you're not going to be getting anything better for the same price. There are some other builds, especially with the 7.62x39 series weapons that I would recommend, and some 3.66 AP weapons that I would recommend as well. But this is all we're going to be going over today. If you guys want to see some more low-key builds, maybe something along the lines of 3.66 AP or even some other playstyles with the KS23 and whatnot, we can go over that in other videos. Let me know in the comments down below. But this is what I'm going to be recommending right now to you guys to use in your raids. So thank you guys for watching. I hope this helped out. I hope you guys learned something you didn't already know in Escape from Tarkov. And if this video did help you out, let me know with a like and a follow. As always, if you guys haven't already checked out our Twitch and Discord servers, please do so. All the help matters and it gets us out there. Thank you all. Have a blessed day. And as always, stay safe.